Hello, and welcome to my sixth book critique. This week I want to share Moses when Harriet Tubman led her people to freedom, Bridge to Terabithia, Al Capone Does My Shirts, Tale of Despero, and King Bidgoods in the Bathtub. For my featured text, I selected King Bidgoods in the Bathtub by Audrey Wood and illustrated by Don Wood. In this humorous Caldecott Honor picture book, King Bidgood refuses to get out of his bathtub and perform his royal duties. Although the knight, queen, duke, and royal court attempt to persuade him to get out, the king always finds an excuse to stay. I love the illustrations in this book. They are colorful, elaborate, very funny, and sure to engage young readers. I also like how the text uses repeated language in sentence structure. This can help students predict and anticipate what is going to happen next. For an upper elementary, lower middle school language arts activity, students will create their own comic strips using Pixton.com. Students will select a royal figure, such as the count, princess, or monk, or a servant, such as the jester, footman, or carriage driver, and write an original comic in which that character tries to convince the king to come out of the tub. The selected character should not appear in the original story. As they work, students should consider the structure of the original picture book, including repeated language and syntax. The comic strip should include at least 4 panels or boxes and dialogue. When they finish, students will print and post their comics on a bulletin board outside their classroom in order that other teachers and peers may view their work. This is one example of a Pixton comic in which the stable boy fails to convince the king to come out of his tub. I chose Pixton because it is easy to use, has a variety of backgrounds, characters, and options for the panels, and allows the users to manipulate the characters' emotions and actions. For an upper elementary, lower middle school science activity, students will work in pairs and use a bucket, washtub, or a baby tub to explore the concept of buoyancy or the ability of an object to sink or float. Students will first make a prediction or a hypothesis as to whether an object will sink or float. They will also include an explanation to support their reasoning. Their responses will be recorded on a chart. The students will then test the buoyancy of a variety of objects. These can be any object, such as a cork, pumice stone, or erasers, or an object related to the story, such as a plastic crown or toy soldiers. Results will be recorded on the same chart next to the appropriate prediction. Students will conclude by writing a formal lab report stating the purpose of the experiment, their hypotheses, the process they used, and their findings in relation to those hypotheses. In a follow-up lesson, students can explore water volume and the principle of displacement. This is a sample sink or float experiment chart that the students can use to make their predictions, explain their reasoning, and record their findings and observations. I like this activity because it promotes exploratory learning, involves critical thinking, and fosters collaboration. The remainder of this video will cover the rest of the books in this week's critique. Bridge to Terabithia by Katherine Patterson is a winner of the Newbery Medal. This realistic fiction novel follows an 11-year-old boy named Jess Aarons and his new neighbor Leslie Burke as they become friends and create an imaginary magical kingdom in the woods called Terabithia. As the duo invent games and wild fantasies, they help each other to mature, face life's difficult challenges, and realize their individual talents. Terabithia becomes more than just a make-believe land. It becomes a place of friendship, possibilities, and even comfort in the face of tragedy. I love how this book activates the imagination, creates relatable characters, and provokes a strong emotional reaction. Al Capone Does My Shirts by Jennifer Kodenko is a historical fiction novel that won the Newbery Medal. In 1935, a boy named Moose Flanagan and his family moved to Alcatraz Island after his father is hired as an electrician and security guard. Moose struggles to adapt to life in a prison. He struggles to make friends, keep out of trouble, stay clear of the dangerous inmates, and take care of his older autistic sister. I like how this book interweaves relatable characters, adventure, drama, and humor in a historical setting that prompts the reader to wonder about the history of Alcatraz and the notorious criminals who lived there. Tale of Despero by Kate DiCamillo and illustrated by Timothy Ehring is a modern fantasy novel that won the Newbery Medal. It tells the story of how Despero, an unusual mouse with big dreams, the odd rat Roscuro, who is a victim of circumstance, the beautiful Princess P, and Miggery Sal, the lowly servant girl, cross paths, and discover their true destinies. I remember reading this novel in middle school. I like the sense of adventure and how the text is divided into four main sections called books, each told from a different character's or group of characters' perspectives. I also like how it pushes students to consider the themes of light versus dark, revenge, family, courage, and forgiveness. Moses, When Harriet Tubman Led Her People to Freedom by Carol Boston Weatherford and illustrated by Kadir Nelson is a Caldecott Honor Book and a winner of the Coretta Scott King Award for Illustrators. Although Weatherford took some creative liberties in conveying the story, Moses is a biographical overview of Harriet Tubman's daring escape from slavery and decision to join the Underground Railroad during the Civil War. I like how the author pays tribute to this important historical figure by conveying her courage and resilience during her dangerous journey. The illustrations are purposeful and reflect a serious mood, while the text provides insight into her emotions, thought process, and faith through an internal dialogue with God. Thank you for taking the time to review my book critique. Hope you have an amazing day.